Brian, who all knew that you were giving these kids alcohol?
Well, I'm sure mother knew that I was. Certainly because we were at their home, they knew, but I don't know about the other ones at all. His dad would know. But again, their family members knew and were present.
They were present?
Yeah.
So,
in their home.
Okay, the parents were present.
Present in the home.
Okay. The arousal talk that you gave to us, okay, was that something that you thought was a very important instruction to give?
What was important, this had been a few months of constantly...
Can I use a word for you? Was it grooming?
No.
Because we're grooming them?
No.
Okay. What would be a good word?
It was trying to explain to him that it was okay to be aroused, that it was not okay to use that arousal in a way that would be immoral. And so, you see, there's somewhat behind the eight ball here. I was his confessor. My concern was that he dealt with what he was dealing with appropriately. And I wanted to make sure that he didn't get the idea that he was evil, or that sex is evil, or that anything else is evil except for where one takes that. Where do they go with that? So I was trying to explain that to him so that he just would not feel as bad.
Did these gentlemen attend St. Pat's school?
Which gentlemen? Any of these gentlemen?
Right. Health education, St. Pat's school.
I'm sure they've got health education, but I was a specific problem.
Did you talk to
that problem?
Okay. What I don't understand, okay, and I'm sure that you can help me out with this. I'm sure that there's a reasonable explanation, but tell me again why he was supposed to lean up against you when he was aroused. Just help my mind, enlighten me on that.
I have no explanation other than to say what I was trying to do was to get him to see that is not evil. It's not bad. It's not wrong. And if he, I don't know. That's.
Have you had any sexual contact with another man?
No.
How about with a woman?
No.
Have you ever had any sexual contact with a child?
No.
A juvenile?
No.
Have you, I guess, in your mind, ever, now that you can reflect back, you know that this is wrong, okay? This is out in the open. Inappropriately touched a child on their private parts?
No.
Another man?
No.
You ever touched another man's penis?
No.
Touched a rectum?
No.
Is there anything else that you did with?
Yes.
How many times did you do that?
To do what?
With him?
Have beer and alcohol? I'd say 4 times at most. Maybe more. I would say 4 times at most. And when it came to the talking about...
Well, 4 times at most.
Well,
maybe more doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying to think.
What I'm telling you is quite a few times.
Well, it would have been for as long as he was coming to the rectory and stuff. I don't know, maybe depending on how often. I think about 4 times.
The first time?
When his mother called me, I think, to help with... I think his mother called me to help with a problem that he had with the court system, in which I was supposed to supervise him do work at the rectory, and then sign a letter
What
saying
kind of
that he
problem did he have?
I'm not sure what he did.
But you were supposed to be his.
Well, I was supposed to be the one that was supervising work at the rectory. He was supposed to do community service, and I can't remember what he did.
So you were kind of supposed to be his mentor.
Yeah, well, just
So
supervise
he's there
them.
through the court systems. You were supposed to kind of be his guidance. Even though it's through St. Croix County Circuit Courts or through the court systems, how did that turn into alcohol?
I have no good answer. I have no good answer.
You know that it was illegal.
It was, yeah.
What should be the consequences of you for doing that, giving this alcohol to these kids? What should be the consequence?
Whatever the law has, I guess.
What do you think the law should be?
I don't know.
Did you ever talk to anybody else, any adults, that were also, would maybe give alcohol to underage persons?
No.
What do you think should happen to the person who killed Dan O'Connell and James Ellison?
I think they should be put away for a long time. For life.
Okay, what do you mean put away?
Locked up in the jail.
You don't know who killed Dan O'Connell.
No, I don't know who killed Dan.
Do you know why he was killed?
No, I don't know why he was killed.
Why was James Ellison killed?
I don't know.
Based on things that you've told us before, you're talking about the placement or where the bodies were and that type of thing. Do you think somebody just got in the way when somebody else wanted to shoot somebody else? Is that why there's two persons dead instead of one?
I don't know.
Because if it's true or if it's not true, for what you're telling us about the scene, not much of that information was given out to the media. None of that was broadcast.
This is the very first we've ever heard of it.
If you're given direct things, Ryan,
I don't know.
Why?
All I know is I may have overheard that somewhere in some kind of chit chat, and that's why I brought it up when you asked me.
you believe in, obviously, you know, you believe in the forgiveness and the confessions and all that's, you know, and those types of things. Is a person, whoever kills another person, intentionally kills somebody, not in self-defense, are they ever going to be forgiven?
They can be if they repent of their sin. If they're sorry for what they did, if they're really and truly sorry, they can be forgiven.
How would you go about, if you were the one who did it, okay, how would you go about saying that you want to have your sins forgiven? I mean, as a man in your position?
I would go to a priest and ask for forgiveness.
Would you be forgiven?
If I was truly sorry, yes. If I wasn't truly sorry, no.
Okay. Just once you'd say that? Did you want to be forgiven?
Probably all the rest of my life. Although I would go once to the priest, but I wouldn't. After that, the priest grants absolution. If he grants absolution, then I'd probably still, the consequences of living with it would have to be there. And so, I'd be sorry the rest of my life.
Do you think the person that killed these two men can really live with themselves?
I don't believe so.
Don't you think it just would eat them right up?
I don't believe anybody who would kill somebody could live with it.
It's man to man here.
Yep.
Wouldn't that just eat away at their guts? I think about it every day.
Oh, yeah.
There wouldn't be a day, or there isn't a day that goes by, is there?
Not a day, I wouldn't think.
Do you think about it?
I didn't kill him.
If we said that we still have to clear up some things with you, told you things have become problematic here, okay? Some of the discrepancies, we've told you some of those, and we're trying to clear those up. How can you go about helping us clear those up? Because what you said sometimes, it wasn't that long ago, was it, when we came and talked to you?
I've thought about it since then. Those kind of things keep going through your mind as I sat there listening. I kept thinking, okay, now did I do that? Didn't I do that? Did I go this way? Didn't I go that way? And so after you guys left, I started evaluating it all over again in my mind. Did I go that way? Didn't I go that way? What did I do?
After you left the school down there that day, you had lunch with the kids, and you stayed until the end of second shift, which you says is 12:30.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't arrive back to the church until nearly 3 o'clock that afternoon. I want to know where you were. Where did you go? They told you were not at the church.
Well, I'm not sure.
We got to have an. You told us before you knew right where you went, Ryan.
I thought I did. I thought I knew where I was going.
We have a void from what you say is 12:30 until other persons say you did not arrive back to the church.
Did any of them say what time I left? Do any of them know what time I left? Meaning
what we have to
Ellen
do
or somebody.
is you tell us or try to help us. Where would you go for that length of time on a weekday during the middle of the day if Father Peter was vacationing?
It could be anywhere. I could have gone. I know I wasn't there, but it was typical for me.
When you open up your day planner, there was nothing on your day planner.
It's not untypical for me to go out and go to Leaflet Missile, to go to the chapel.
Okay, where is Leaflet Missile?
Over in the cities. But I know I wasn't there that day. I'm almost sure.
Okay.
But I'm just saying it's not uncommon for me to just leave the office and go.
You left the school, but where did you go to?
I could have gone. I know that I went to tobacco. I remember the tobacco.
You didn't go to the church. You didn't tell anybody up at the church where you're going. They tried to make contact with you. They were looking for your assistance up at the funeral home. You were nowhere to be found. We need to find out where you were from the time you left St. Pat's School, having lunch with those kids, and being on the playground until you arrived back at the church. And not only that, you were northbound on Wisconsin Street when you arrived back. We need some answers.
I don't know where I was other than to say I could have been shopping. I could have been on a number of places. I remember what I told you, or at least I remember as much as I can remember that I told you. I know that I went up that way. I know that I saw something was wrong at the funeral home, and I know I was going to the tobacco shop. But I don't know more than that. I remember coming back to the church and being told by Ellen that something had happened to Dan, or to somebody, or something up there.
And you were concerned.
Of course.
Why would you go into your office and stay in your office until everybody left for the day if you were so concerned?
That's not...
I'm just asking you.
I didn't stay in my office. I went out to see Jenny O'Connell.
Jenny O'Connell.
Says
If
she
we
didn't
ask
see
her,
me?
what time is she going to tell us? When we go back and talk to Jenny O'Connell, what time is she going to tell us when we say, when did Ryan show up at your house?
I don't know what time. I figured it was like 2, 3. I thought the sun was out. I thought...
And you were there to see Jenny.
Yes.
Okay. You knew before that, it's like a lot of people in town, Tom and Janet go on their annual trip down south or wherever it's nice and warm. So you go out there to see Jenny O'Connell and probably the kids. But you remember going out there, but this important thing is you don't know who you were with. If you were with anybody to go console the family.
Does that seem odd that you don't remember that? I mean, put yourselves in our spot.
I understand. I understand where you're coming from. I understand it. I really do. I honestly cannot remember. I really can't. I mean, I don't know if someone was with me, not with me. I'm not sure what time I arrived at Janet's house. I mean, at Dan's house. Not Janet. Jenny's house. I don't know what time. And I can't account for that time that's missing in your chunk. I know I didn't kill him.
Hey, it's not missing in my chunk. It's in your hands.
Well, I know that, but I mean what I mean is I don't know how to give you that missing detail of where I was during that time period. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I did not kill him. I know that.
You did not kill who?
Dan O'Connell or James Ellison. I did not kill them.
Have you ever had any thoughts about killing anybody?
No.
When you were living at the rectory, you had rifles there?
Mm-hmm.
Long guns?
Mm-hmm.
Different. Did you ever hold that weapon outside towards St. Pat's School and make any references to? Wonder if they were gone?
No, not any rifles. Maybe a BB gun if I was shooting an animal out there or something. But I didn't. No. And there was no intention to kill anybody.
Okay. Was there any intention to say? Because there's all people that we don't like in this world. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it goes. I may have made a joking shot or something, but I certainly would never mean anything like that. Okay. Now, better care a joking shot.
No, I mean a joking. I may have joked about or tried to get a levy out of somebody by saying, "Oh, I wonder if somebody's over there." I don't remember doing that. I remember one time a window almost coming out because I was shooting at a squirrel, and maybe I said something at that point about it, just goofing around saying, "Oh, I wonder if they're still there or something." But no. I didn't intend to hurt anybody, to kill anybody. No.
Do you think Dan and James were intended to die?
I have no idea if they were intended to die or not.
Believe in a death sentence?
I do and I don't. I do in rare cases and I don't in most cases.
How about this case?
In this case, my personal opinion is no.
Why?
Because the death penalty, I think, is reserved to those who cannot be reformed and those who have been so heinous of crime, like serial killers and the like.
What makes you think that isn't the case here?
Well, I don't think it's a serial killing.
Or a heinous crime?
How do you know they could be reformed?
Well, I don't. You asked me for my opinion. I told you my opinion.
About the death sentence?
Yeah.
So you think the person that killed Dan O'Connell and James Ellison should not die because you feel that they can be reformed?
I don't know. I would say that the person who killed them, I believe in life, and no, no, they should not be. Whoever it is should not be killed.
Just locked up for a long time.
Forever.
Let me back up first, get sidetracked here for just a second. Do you remember back in 2002 on February 5th, were you sporting any facial hair? And the reason I asked that is because when we saw you a couple weeks ago, you had a
hunting. For hunting, I always put on the beard.
But you haven't hunted for many years, correct?
I haven't hunted, but during the hunting season, I always put it on.
During the hunting season?
Yep, and sometimes I would keep it on for indiscriminate amount of time. So it depended on what was going on. I could have had it on. I'm not sure.
When did you shave your beard off?
My beard? This 2 weeks ago. A week ago, something like that. Just after hunting. So
just after
hunting. Right after, yeah.
Wasn't in the last 2 days?
No.
Safe to say a week ago?
Yeah.
At least?
Right after hunting. Okay.
When don't you wear your clerical gown?
I don't wear this stuff when I'm out doing something outside, like raking leaves or, manual labor, like taking care of the car, or I don't wear it when I go swimming, if I'm out recreating, playing tennis or, something in that kind of sports kind of thing.
Do you ever go over and visit? Do you ever go over there without your?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you normally wear then if you don't wear?
Usually my sweatpants and my t-shirt, or sometimes a pair of jeans and a t-shirt.
Okay. Do you have contacts?
No, just my glasses.
Okay. And are they to help you to read or for long distance?
Everything looks flat when I don't have them on. So when I put them on, then everything gets 3D. So
do you have astigmatism?
Maybe, yeah.
Do you need them for on your driver's license?
No.
To say that you're required to wear them?
No.
Okay. So once in a while you can go out, or if it's a late
Sure.
night or right in the middle, so that and you don't need to wear glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In the evening of February 5th, 2002, was there anything on your schedule?
I think there was, which I canceled. Or they canceled, depending.
Okay. Did you do mass at 6 o'clock?
Tuesday, 6 o'clock. I might have.
Is there normally mass at 6 o'clock?
If it was
or 6:15?
Lent. If it was Lent, yes.
Okay, February 5th.
I don't know if it was Lent or not, but if it was Lent, then I would have.
Why would that meeting have been canceled?
It could be everything that was going on. It could have been Mass was coming and I wanted to have Mass. I didn't want to do it after the Mass. Could be something that they decided that they didn't want to come in for.
But you don't recall who canceled it?
No, I don't. Could have been them, could have been me.
A couple weeks ago, you had said that you'd cancel it given the circumstances of the O'Connell.
I said it could be either or.
Okay. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Do you have any questions of us so far?
I hate to ask the question, am I a suspect in Dan O'Connell's murder? That's
You understand where we're coming from. We told you we got a void on that day, and we're trying to fill that in.
I know, but that's
You ever wear any headgear? Like, well, sometimes he's got to wear like a ball cap on there, goes his head will burn.
Well, sometimes I wear a ball cap. Yeah, but
like you got a favorite team, like represent the Twins or
no.
Brewers or
no, it would be my the only two hats that I wear. Well, there's three hats that I wear. One is a fedora, which is fancy hat. When I got my cleric's on, I usually wear that one. Another one is
that black?
Yep, it's black.
Okay.
Black fedora. And then I have a baseball type cap that has on it our family clan, and
what is it like?
Stitched? Yeah, it's stitched in. Yep, stitched in. And it goes up like this, and it's underneath it. It says, "For this I shall defend," which is the family clan's motto.
Okay. Well, your fedora is black. What color is that one?
That's a tan color.
With what kind of lettering?
Would be a maroon type of lettering.
Okay. And then you also wear some other headgear.
Yeah, I wear it's a Civil War gray kippy.
A gray kippy?
Yeah, it's a gray. It's a southern.
Okay. Is that any other color on a gray? Blue? Red?
It's gray, and then it's got a black stripe, but that's it. Oh, a black leather piece.
Are you upset that we're here?
Well, I'm nervous that I would be considered a suspect because I'm not, and I know I didn't kill him, and it bothers me that there might be evidence that points to the fact that I did. I gave up my guns right away. I let you have that stuff. I tried to cooperate right away and tried to remember the things that I needed to remember. So when you said that if you had to get a contact with me again, it would be because there was a problem with the guns. So, of course, when you called, oh boy, that made me even more nervous. I thought, oh, there must have been a problem with the guns. And
why would there be a problem with the guns?
Why would there?
Yeah.
Well, there shouldn't be. But
why were you so worried about it then?
Well, because you sat down in the. Sure, you sat down and you said, "We're detectives
when
from."
We were coming up to visit with you. Door.
Yeah.
We were let in. You know that the police were coming to talk to you at that time,
or someone else?
That the police were coming at that time to talk to me. I thought at first you were salespersons when you walked through the door, and then when you came in and you introduced yourselves as Hudson PD.
That's the time. You're correct. That's the time when we introduced ourselves as Hudson Police Department. That we were there.
Well, I wasn't surprised in the sense that I knew that something was going on down there in Hudson because somebody had called the Ladysmith department looking for me. So I figured something must be going on.
Why would that implicate you or bring you into the picture?
Called looking for me from the Hudson Police Department to Ladysmith Police Department. So I figured something was in for me. So when you introduced yourself, of course I was a little shocked. I was like, oh, goodness, what's going on? Knew at least that something was coming. Or not coming, but I just knew that they were looking for me in Hudson.
Well, if you knew that somebody was looking for you, and if somebody had been calling around to where the heck you were, call the Hudson Police.
Well, I figured
why don't you come on up and talk to me if you want?
They told you.
Who's they?
From St. Mary's here, told them where I was. I said, oh, okay. So I awaited the phone call.
But you still never offered to come that time.
Well, maybe
month?
2-3 weeks.
And you still
Forgot about it. I got going doing all kinds of other stuff.
No,
I have 4.
if the police were looking, and if I'd sure want to call them. Hell,
Busy. I just spaced it out.
were you more worried about we're going to bring up underage?
Well, I tell you,
You know, it had to be two, one or the other.
it was,
What did you think it was?
I thought it was underage drinking, maybe.
And what else?
That's what I thought.
Okay. You have secondary thoughts?
No, that was the only thing that kept running through my head was, oh, great, now what am I going to get in trouble for? Well, who's accusing me of what? What's going on down there in Hudson? That place has been an absolute burden. And so I know there are 5 women down there who absolutely despise me. And I know that they've been talking to the bishop saying, oh, Bishop, by the way, you know, he's still contacting people down here. And I thought, now who's making trouble for me? That's what went through my head. Who's trying to get me out of the picture by throwing out all kinds of, you know, oh, Father Ryan did this or Father Ryan did that. That's what my thought was.
How many things did you ever do down Hudson that were illegal?
That was illegal.
What's that? Was illegal?
Underage drinking.
But that wasn't the question he asked. He asked how many things.
Oh, that's the only one. Illegally, that's the only thing I did there. That was illegal.
You're going to have to convince me of that.
That's what it is.
And I'm just telling you, you're going to have to convince me of that.
I don't know how to convince.
Okay. Mr. Walter?
I'm just I'm curious about something. And I heard you say earlier that you went across from the school grounds to the rectory to use the loo because you didn't want to be accused of this and that and whatever else. Okay. And then we just hear a discussion that sounds very compromising. Okay.
It was very compromising.
And it seemed absolutely inconsistent. Okay. And maybe as honorable as anything, it sounds and smells rotten.
Oh, I know.
Okay? And since we're here, though they don't know it, they're going to hear it in front of me. Okay? And I have some experience in these matters. Okay? We know statistically that the first time somebody gets in trouble on these kinds of matters, exactly as you described, okay? Do you know what the probability is for other cases? We know statistically that for the very first contact about this, there are 61 prior offenses that nobody knew about. And so when I sit here and I'm hearing you chat, well, here's 4, or here's 3, or here's whatever else, okay? That may be true. But to an old cynic like me, okay, it speaks volumes. Okay? The other thing that I was interested in, quite on a different track, okay? I would like to hear a little more about disagreements, agreements, the lack of sociability that you had with Dan and his wife, and these other sorts of things. I sense a silent wall, and in the sense that I'm just not convinced. Okay, or I just don't know. It's not a matter of being convinced. I just don't know. I have a feeling that you were not everybody's favorite.
Oh no, not at all.
Okay. Tell me about it. Did you have arguments with him? Did you?
I never argued with Dan O'Connell nor with his wife Jenny.
Okay.
Didn't know Dan or James Ellison to be able to argue with him. He didn't go to our church.
Did they like you?
I think they did. I think Jenny liked me. I think that Dan.
Were you in Hudson?
3 years.
Were you ever at their home for dinner?
No.
Why?
Dan said that it was because he was busy. He said he had intended to have me out there, but he was busy, and he wanted me to. In fact, the week prior, he said, "Come out, bless the house, and go to confession," kind of thing. And I said, well, "That'd be doable, be wonderful." But yeah, but there were a lot of people that didn't invite me out to their homes.
Joking question. What would have happened had Dan O'Connell heard what you just discussed with the police officer here? What would he have done if he had heard about the drinking and what appears to me, I'm sorry, it just smacks to me. Okay, you can call it, dress it up however you want to. It may be honorable, but to me, it's sex. Okay, I'm not asking you to agree with me. Okay, I'm just telling you as I see it. My question is to you, since you know Dan O'Connell and I don't, how would he have responded if he had learned that information?
Well, he would have liked it.
Huh?
He wouldn't have liked
Would he
it.
have been done something about it?
I don't know Dan well enough to know if he would have done something about it. I'm sure he probably would have. He was an outstanding member of the community.
Yeah.
But I don't know how he.
I was just asking. I'm not accusing. I'm just asking. Okay.
When was the last time you saw Dan O'Connell alive?
It would have been the week prior. We went on a funeral together. That would have been the last time I saw him alive.
Okay, where was did it all take place in Hudson?
Yeah.
Okay, at the Catholic Church in Hudson.
Yep. And then we went to the cemetery.
Which is located where?
On the other side of 94. Over toward,
The Catholic cemetery?
the Catholic cemetery.
There's two in town.
Yeah,
Willow
that'd be
River
the
and
Catholic
St. Patrick's.
cemetery.
Remember what time that was?
It would have been again in I would say the funeral probably was at 11 or 10. And then we would have been back for lunch. So I would have been back by 12:30 at the latest so that I could do the meal prep.
Are you a bowler?
No.
Ever bowled?
No. Well, I have bowled, but not when I was in Hudson. I did not. I chaperoned one bowling party, and that was all. And that was the grade school kids.
Were you a member of the Rotary or Chamber or anything outside of the church?
No. Father Peter was.
Did you see Dan Monday night?
No, I did
February
not.
4th?
No, I did not.
You're sure?
I'm positive.
Did you see him Tuesday?
Nope.
Did you ever go out and have a drink at any bars?
I
taverns
never went to any of the main taverns, but I would go to like Applebee's, and I would go to Green Mill, and I would have drinks there, but I wouldn't do it at like Dibbo's or anything like that.
What about the bowling center?
Nope.
You never drank at the bowling center?
Never had a drink there.
Did you ever go inside the bowling center?
I've been inside the bowling center, to chaperone the kids, and that would be it.
So you went inside the bowling center once.
One time.
Do you recall when that was?
Would have been during the day, and it would have been. No, I don't know the date. Chaperone the kids from school.
School time?
Well, now just wait a minute. I think it was summer stretch is when it. No, man. I think it was summer stretch, but it might have been school. I'm trying to see who the teachers are. I think it was summer stretch. It was not the school. And that would have been a Thursday then.
Remember what the names are?
and I don't remember her name.
She's without a dad, isn't she?
Yeah. I mean, I talked to her to say hi, but I never talked to her about that specific thing. Specifically about that thing.
Do you remember any conversations that you had after Dan was murdered?
Just, I'm sorry, and I didn't even bring it up to them. I just kind of, I'm sorry if there's anything I can do.
You're in a room, just like we are here. It's just you three in a room. They wanted to know how their dad died. How would you explain that?
Well, if I was asked to explain to them how their dad died, I would say tragically. I don't know what I would say. I'm not sure how I would approach that. It would depend on the circumstance in which they were brought in and said, Father, could you please explain to them or talk to them about this? They're having a hard time. I might talk to them about how God does allow certain things to take place, or I might talk about how he's now in heaven with God and he's happy and watching over them. I probably would keep it at a very level that would be not talking about specifically what happened to him or that kind of thing, but talking about, hey, Dad's now in a better place. God, he's there watching over you. He's still present to you. That's how I would talk to him. Wanted something different, in the sense of talk to them about the shooting. And then at that case, I would say, go talk to Father Peter.
Why would you want to talk to Father Peter?
Well, because I wouldn't know what to say. I wouldn't know where to go. I'm not an expert in that kind of field. I'm an expert in the God field. I can talk about God's love and the hope of everlasting joy. But I wouldn't know where to begin with counseling a child about their dad dying, especially in a very tragic way like that.
Why do you think God allowed this to take place?
I have no
The killing
idea.
of Dan and James?
I have no idea. The only thing I can tell you there is I know that he allowed it to take place because nothing is done without God's allowal. Why? I don't know.
When we make the arrest, Monday.
If it was proven that the person killed their father, I'm sure they might want to say a lot of things, depending. What kind of mixed emotions they have. If I were them, I'd explode. I'd be angry. I'd say, now, what the heck's wrong? Why did you do that? You'd probably want to ask questions. Why did that happen? Why did you do that? Why did you take my dad away from me? Those kind of things.
Who's the angriest you've ever? Who's the person that made you the most angriest?
I think the most angry I've ever been is at a particular group of women in Hudson who did all that they could do to get rid of me and to get rid of Father Peter from the parish, and were underhanded and just mean-spirited. Those are just women who had their children at the school, have her children at school. She wasn't part of that circle of people.
Did she ever have her children in the school?
She might have before I got there, but not when I was there.
Not when you were there?
No.
Were they in the public school?
They were in the public school, and I believe CCD.
Did they ever talk, being part of the church, obviously charitable donations are a must for survival. Was there ever any discussion on the O'Connells as far as what they gave, what they should give?
Never
any
heard
percentages? Hey, you own a business, the business is doing well?
Nope, never heard a thing about that. That was all in Father Peter's department. He keeps a very tight lip on that kind of stuff.
You never saw any records or?
Nope, didn't look at any of the records.
Well, I do have another question. Okay. I find it curious that you're quite willing to tell us your faults in some areas, such as lack of social skill or desirability or adaptability or whatever it is, or basically. I just am perplexed then, realizing that. Okay. Well, before I go there, and then, for instance, your hesitancy or your nervousness or whatever else, though it's frankly it's the part of your trade, okay, to console Jenny and the children and whatever else, but you were nervous at the bits and pieces up there, okay. Why in the devil then would you take the risk of counseling a boy on sexual matters, etc., when you don't have those kinds of skills? That is just stupid.
He came to me with that particular problem, and so that is in that realm I felt competent.
Okay.
I didn't feel competent in the other realms.
Yeah. Is that a handicap in your profession?
It's a major handicap in my profession, and I think that a lot of people would tell you that he's a little handicapped in that area. He doesn't like to go running out there and be the first one to be on the scene kind of thing. I like to step back and watch what's going on. I get nervous about how will I come across to the person? How will the person read what I'm saying, or what will the person, am I going to screw up? That's the biggest thing. Will I screw this up? Am I going to say something that's going to cause this person more grief than they already have? And I don't want to go there.
Okay. My next question is this, and it's a judgment question. Think about it carefully. Okay? It's a trap. Not really, but it's loaded. I hear you talk about nervous bits and pieces and all this kind of stuff. Okay? You're on the inside of you. I'm not. I don't know what you're thinking. Okay? But when I listen to you, okay, I see less nervous as in anxiety, anger, all this emotional kind of stuff. I really see it coming down to kind of like power issues that you don't want to be made a fool of.
No, because I really have been made a fool, and I don't like it. But I've had that happen, and that's not what. No, I don't want to be accused of something that I did not do.
Sure.
And that's where I'm at.
Help me out a little bit, because I'm still having. I'll give people vocations, and I have strange vocations too, and all these other sorts of things. Okay. If you don't want to kill anything, okay, I find it a strange thing to be an aficionado of guns, which are designed to kill things. Okay, and what satisfaction is there besides petting them? Can one get from owning those guns if one doesn't really use them?
Well, I do use them. I went out hunting this last time. I haven't been hunting for a while because of where I've been stationed, such as in the seminary. You just didn't have time to do that.
Sure.
And being in Hudson, I didn't have in fact, I did go out hunting in Hudson a few times. I went out small game hunting, and I believe I did tell you that when you were there. Made it pretty clear that I went out small game hunting. I have a license. You can check that with the whatever. And I think it goes all the way back 3-4 years that I was small game hunting. But so
more basic, what's the satisfaction of shooting?
Well, I like to eat what I shoot.
Besides
That's the number one thing. I do like to eat squirrel quite a bit.
Okay, my question is fundamentally from your bones on the inside, what is fun about not the stalking and all this kind of stuff, but aiming and all these other sport of it. What is fun enough that you would, I assume you're not independently wealthy,
No.
that you would then spend money on to accumulate these. So it has to have some value. What is I don't
Well,
understand
the value is that it's stuff. I got stuff.
Okay.
In a certain respect, the people that I hung around with, even in the Hudson area, plus my own family, and guns are kind of a prestige. People take note. Oh, look at that! That's a nice looking piece.
You see yourself as a regular guy.
I do. I think I do. I mean, I see myself as a person who likes to hang around with regular people, drink regular stuff, and
You see
talk
yourself, though, when you look in the mirror, do you see you rather than this?
Oh yes, I see a sinner.
Okay.
That I don't say flippantly. I really mean that. When I look into the mirror, I'm very clear who I am, and I know that I'm a very weak man. Prick me, I'll bleed. And I tell the people that all the time. I'm not beyond reproach. They hear that in homilies over and over again.
Because, and I'm not being, well, I am being critical, okay? Because it's atypical, I guess. When I hear guns, I hear violent movies, okay? I start adding things in terms of probability in my head, okay? And you come up odd, okay? None of those things independent, I suppose, would say anything. But when I then hear you talk about your lack of sexual experience, okay, it looks like you're trying to satisfy all those needs through these other activities, okay? We look at these things, okay? And so it sounds like you're trying to be a man separate, but also wearing your vestments, or whatever you call these things, this costume. And it sounds contradictory. Okay? It may not be. I was just curious if you saw that too.
I don't see the contradictory nature of it. I'm a priest in the world, and so I have to function within that world by fitting in, try to make the world fit into my scope. I've got to, and those things are the things that I did when I was younger, and so they're natural to do now, or at least they feel natural.
Do you always live up
now
to your expectations for other people and or yourself, or the church's expectations?
No.
How often would you say you fail?
Oh, I would say often enough. I mean, I'm impatient, and I've got my mother's tongue, so once in a while I can bite at somebody.
Do you find yourself being in disagreement of not being able to live up to your own standards, and you find out that doing things that you may not even believe in,
Such as
by your own words earlier today, okay? You said that you were relatively conservative in terms of belief systems, etc. I heard you say that, okay? And my guess is, listening to your language and whatever else, that's probably true, okay? Sounds like you're setting a standard and you're setting guidelines and whatever else. Fine. And then I hear the stupidity, in my opinion, of your sexual encounter, which is my interpretation. It's not yours, okay? But it was a dumb thing. It was a dumb thing and a factual thing about the alcohol, okay? So what I'm hearing is you're doing dumb things over here, but you have these high standards over here, okay? And it takes some stretch to reconcile those. Do you see that difference within yourself? That's what I was asking.
I see that. Yeah, that's called, at least from where I come from, that's sin. That's absolutely failing, missing the mark, doing dumb things.
Yeah.
That when you look back at them, you realize that wasn't the best way to approach that, or, that was not my intention for anything to get misinterpreted or looked at
next question, and then I'm going to let them come back. I don't understand these things, and so I'm asking protocol. If after you have been exonerated from your sins that you may confess, okay, does guilt go away?
I don't think so. I think guilt always remains with you. At least I found that the things that I've done, the guilt is always there. And the reason is, at least the way that I rationalize it in my own mind, is that that's God's way of saying, don't do that again.
Right.
I think the way I counsel people and tell people when they come into the confessional, I say guilt is a good thing. It means you have a conscience. Whereas shame, so that's the devil playing on you. And you got to be careful of that. Shame being, I'm no good, I'm terrible, I'm God awful, I'm evil, I'm going to hell, period. And so I make a distinction between guilt miserably, and that was the worst thing you could have done. And you think of all the consequences that follow from a sinful action, and then you're left with those consequences. You can be forgiven of your sins, but that doesn't erase the consequences of those sins. And I tell people all the time.
But morally inside, he was giving you the hypothetical earlier, okay, about whoever did this. Could they go and could they get exonerated or whatever else? And you said yes, okay. My question is, because in many other religions that I happen to know, once if you confess your sins, God takes that on, and so therefore you don't have any guilt. And I was wondering if that was still true here.
I don't believe that to be really true.
Okay.
I'm not a psychologist, but I believe that there's consequences that are always there. What you did is always in your mind, and even though you know God has forgiven you, you still have to learn to forgive yourself or receive forgiveness from those that you've harmed.
I got a question relating to the car that you drive.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that it was a Lincoln Continental, black. What year?
2000.
A 2000?
Yep.
The car that you had before was a 2000?
I believe it was a 2000.
Or thereabouts?
Yeah, right.
Give or take a year?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you making payments on that at the time?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Are you making payments now?
Still making payments.
Still making payments. Why would you change vehicles if it being that new?
Well, it wasn't that. I mean, it was new, but I wanted a bigger car. I wanted something that was a little bit bigger. Here you can probably talk about male egoism. I wanted to look good in a nice car. So I wanted one that had a moonroof and a sunroof, and I wanted one that had all the fancy gadgets. And I chose to get it then.
Who else drove a car like that? Barring the sunroof.
I'm the only Lincoln in town. Well, there was a little old man that lives off to the side that had one too.
Or a car similar to that. Larger black four-door car.
The O'Connells have black Mercuries, I believe.
Did you ever see Dan driving one?
Just the funeral one, or the one that they...
And you rode in that car with Dan?
Yeah.
Did you like the car?
Oh, yeah, very nice.
Did you let Dan know you liked it?
I may have told him that I liked it, yeah.
Did you ask him any questions about it? You know what's underneath the hood, or what's the stereo system?
I wouldn't ask about under the hood, but I might ask about some of the buttons, some of the gadgets.
What do you say about those?
I don't remember having that conversation with him. Most of the time when I was in that car with him, if I would have said, oh, this is a nice car, the conversation would always come back to who was in the car with us, or, you know, what we were going to do when we got out to the graveside.
Okay. Is that the lead car then? Normally if the funeral director and the priest are in the processional?
Yeah. It would be the lead car, and then I believe the hearse is right behind.
Okay. Who else would ride in that car with you guys?
Sometimes we had cremains. The cremains would be with us. Sometimes would be maybe a family member or so.
How many funerals did you do with Dan?
I think I maybe did 3, maybe at most. Father Peter did most of the funerals down there.
Did you do any strike that?
When you're talking to Mr. Walter, you said that there are some things about guilt. What still is on your mind, your conscience? The guilty part.
Well, I think the guilty part is that I fed him alcohol and that he got sick, and I feel terrible that he got sick, and I feel bad that that happened with me, that he got sick. So
what are the things in your life?
Well, just being a bully at school once in a while.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, I mean not mean in the sense of beat you up, but I would kind of push out of the way, or go over here, go over there.
Is that during a football game, or is that a recess? Or?
Well, it was football games on the side, or in the hallway if something was going on. I just kind of get angry if somebody said something, called me a name or something, and I'd go after them.
Have you ever told anybody in the Catholic Church in Hudson some of the bad things that you've done in your life?
Oh, sure. I've told them about, beating people up and different other things. Yeah, I have.
Those types of things still bother you?
Of course they do. They're still there.
What's the worst thing that you think that you have ever done that's been illegal?
The worst thing I've done that's illegal is getting those kids stuff to drink when I know I shouldn't have.
What's something you've done that other people may think was bad, but you don't think that it's illegal?
Repeat that.
Is there anything that you think that is a we'll call a bad law? Okay, a law that shouldn't exist that you've done, and you think that it's not?
Well, I jokingly gone through a stop sign. I didn't feel all that guilty about going through the stop sign. There was nobody coming or anything like that, so I didn't harm anybody.
Kind of in your mind.
No.
So if somebody didn't see it,
as long as I didn't if I didn't harm somebody, then I went through a stop sign. It just seems to me to be stop sign seems insignificant when there was nobody there. Of course, I know the law, and it says don't go through the stop sign. Stop means stop. That things like that.
Something you could do where nobody else would.
Well, it was
get hurt.
Get hurt, yeah.
Going back to a firearm that would be used to kill Deanna James. Do you know where that firearm is?
No.
Has anybody ever told you where that gun is?
No.
There's nobody in Hudson.
No.
Have you ever told yourself where the gun is?
Tell myself where the gun is. Mm-hmm. No.
Okay. Hypothetically, okay, but just hypothetically. If you said, hey, I did make a huge mistake, I can't take it, this is eating my guts, I can't stand it, I can't live with myself, this is horrible, I did it for this small reason. Sometimes we don't need a big reason to do things, sometimes just a small reason. Do you think if we all walked outside, and is a Father John out there?
Mm-hmm.
Hypothetically again, if you told him, I feel a lot better. I told those guys what actually happened at your O'Connell funeral home on Tuesday, February 5th, 2002. Do you think he'd forgive you?
I would, hypothetically, if I came out and said to him, I did it, and I'm
That's what I'm
sorry,
asking.
and
I'm
I'm
just
sorry
asking
for
you,
what
do you
I
think
did,
that he
yeah,
would
and if
forgive you?
I'm sorry for what I did, and truly sorry, I'd hope he would forgive me, but I don't know. I don't know. He might stop the confession. He may say, "No, I'm sorry. You have to prove to me, you know, that you're sorry for this."
But
Or,
if you walked out in the hallway right now and you told him, hypothetically, that, hey, this is what Dan did. This isn't right, what Dan was doing. This is what made me react to Dan's actions. Do you think he'd forgive you?
I don't know. I can't speak for Father John. I can say that maybe as a priest he would say he would forgive me. But there's no small reason to kill somebody. I can't think of such a thing.
Is there a big reason?
I would say there'd be a big reason if somebody lost it, and then they might go kill someone. But I can't see killing a person. Unless, of course, they came after me. I mean, that'd be much different. But I'm talking about
capable of suicide?
when I was younger, yes.
If you commit suicide?
No, not necessarily. But in those days, it didn't matter to my thought. It was just
Have you ever had psychiatric treatment or counseling
not for that, no.
for alcohol?
I went for a week to Hazelton to evaluate whether or not I had an alcoholic problem.
When was this, Ryan?
That would have been my junior year in the seminary. 6 years, maybe 5, 6 years, something like that.
So 98?
97, 98, right in there, yeah.
Any anger management?
No.
You ever?
But anger when I was in the seminary, my first or second year, I went in for just to talk about anger management, but it was in relation to getting upset with my father and a few other things. So, but it wasn't anger as expressed anger. It was just this kind of eating anger. It was inside, and the priest noticed, and he said, "You know what? You need to be looking at this more deeply than you are." So I went in a few times to the doc, and he talked to me about different things that we worked through, issues of family resentment, father resentment, stuff like that.
Are you on any medication right now?
No.
Have you been in the last 5 years?
No.
How do you handle your anger towards the group of women at St. Patrick's?
A number of ways. One, I get angry and will say things, usually to myself, like or complain about them to maybe 2 or 3 other people, close friends of mine. That tends to be the most typical way to complain to a few of my friends about them.
How do you overcome it?
That's usually how I overcome it, by complaining. A lot of times I take it to prayer and I ask the Lord, please get rid of this. Please just let this go away. But mostly it's complaining about them. Commiserating with friends of mine who may share the same sentiment that I do.
Is there anything you want to ask of us? Because now is the time. We've got an expert with us.
How are we going to get by this problem that we have?
I have no idea.
You have a tight group of folks that you still have contact with down in Hudson. Did you ever talk to the group about the murders?
If we did, it would have been just a matter of, oh gosh, can you believe that happened kind of thing. I wouldn't talk to him about any particular thing, I don't believe. Just the shock, the dismay that it took place in Hudson, small little town.
You indicated typically you don't read the Hudson paper. But the following day you went and got a paper?
Well, I came to the rectory. It was always at the rectory.
You read the paper?
Mm-hmm. See what was there, and curiosity.
Remember ever saying that you didn't?
Yeah, I normally did. No, I didn't normally read the paper, but it always came to the rectory. That was Father Peter's paper.
Why would you read it?
Well, because it was news. This person had been killed, or there was some stuff going on. I wanted to see what the pictures were, what was going on. I wanted to read to see if there was anything, nosy. I wanted to be abreast of what was going on. It was this big news that had taken place.
Did you ever accumulate a few papers as to what was going on with the case?
No.
Did you ever receive the same Paul Pioneer Press? Did you ever get that paper?
I don't know if we may have gotten it at the rectory, or it may have been somebody might have brought it in, put it into the office. Sometimes people would bring in different papers and put them in there. But I don't remember looking at a Pioneer Press with that.
Minneapolis paper?
Oh.
For your preaching of the things that, that you give to help assist them to understand. Did you ever cut out any articles, pictures, the great support that the O'Connell family has received from the community to help in any presentations?
No, I did not.
Have you ever, did you ever have to do any papers on murders and homicides?
Nope.
What was suicides?
Nope.
Do you believe now, if somebody was to kill themselves, suicide, they'd go to heaven?
I believe that if the person knows that suicide is wrong and they commit it, I believe it's in God's hands. I believe it's merciful. Ultimately, what I believe is that they don't go to heaven. That's what I believe. But there are other factors that play into that, such as were they thinking in the right frame of mind. But just on the very basis of the suicide itself, I would say that it would be just no.
Are you gonna, besides the two folks that are with you this evening, are you gonna tell anybody else at the law enforcement talk to you tonight?
Should I or shouldn't I?
December 7th. I'm asking you, are you gonna tell anybody?
I may tell my mother. I'll call the bishop.
What are you gonna tell the bishop?
Well, I'll just tell him that you questioned me on these different things. I'll immediately tell him that there was an accusation made against me because I got to do that. And
An accusation made about what?
well, the way you made it sounded like there's a sexual allegation made against me. If there's a sexual allegation made against me, I got to tell the bishop so that I can be removed from my position and go through all that crap. Which
Did anybody ever? Did we hear in this room?
that's what I was surmising.
Okay. Did you have the alcohol thing?
Well, that's what I mean. That alcohol
The
thing.
whole.
Yeah.
You'd have to contact the bishop over that.
If there was an accusation made, I have to tell the bishop.
What will be the consequences of that?
Immediate removal from the parish.
Ever contact the police department?
As soon as he'd know that you knew, so he would then contact the police department too. Or he would have somebody up there contact the police department.
This drinking problem with the minors, is that a really big issue?
I think it's a big issue. I mean, you pointed out, I know it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. I sat there and I look at it back now and I see it's wrong. I see that it was really dumb. I do. I just, you want to fit in. You want to make them all.
You're having a hard time identifying with yourself and with them.
Well, it's hard to get them to understand that you want to help them and to identify with them in such a way that they don't feel like, oh gosh, Father, he's scared of Father, or there's a balance between respect and fear. And I don't like it when they fear people. I never feared my pastors, and I never feared anybody. I mean, in that, and so I don't want them to fear me. And yet I see more and more this greater and greater fear taking place. So you think, well, if I look like the kids, or if I try to kind of be like the kids, if I kind of talk like, even went out and bought stupid DVDs, Backstreet Boys, and I forget who else. But anyway, to try to make them feel like Father was somebody who cared about them, and that Father really wanted to help them, because the older priests are just that. They're older and they're so far away, and I don't want that to be the stereotype. And so I do something thinking, oh, this is harmless. And then when you look at it, even 2 days later, you go, oh my God, what did I do? We shouldn't have done that. That wasn't right. Don't do that.
But it continued to happen, didn't it?
Well, because I didn't think about it until all of a sudden, a couple of times after, I'm like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. In fact, and he puked and all that. That was it. That was it. I quit doing it. You ask him, there was no more. That was done. Because I realized this danger alert that went after, oh, danger, danger. You're going to get in trouble for this. But also that it wasn't right. And I knew that. I knew that. And so that's, God, I know.
All the alcohol that you fed these kids, other than being in the city of Hudson, did you ever take any trips with them? Did you ever take...
Go hunting. That was...
Do I have that? No, I don't think I do. Okay. How much,
16, 17, and drink, except with his parents.
Okay. So when you came up here to hunt and visit your parents?
We didn't drink nothing.
Okay. How about the other gentleman? Who else did you bring up? Okay. And he liked beer and wine, if my notes serve me correct.
That's what he drank. Yeah.
Okay. How much drink when you guys were on that trip?
He didn't drink anything to my...
So all the drinking that was done was at the rectory in the city of Hudson?
Or at the houses of those family members.
Okay. Those for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Those all drank with you at the rectory without any parents present?
No.
If you were in law enforcement, you were in our positions. We're next with the investigation for the homicide of O'Connell and Ellison. Dan and James, they're dead. They're gone. Somebody did it. We're trying to find out the person responsible. Not that that person's the bad person in the whole world, but there's a consequence that they have to. What would you do?
If I were a cop, I don't know. I don't know what you've done so far. I keep questioning people, keep trying to find a person who might have done it. Find out if, investigate by talking to them and
Well, now we come on to you. Now you're in our shoes. What would you do with you?
I just know that I did not kill James Dan O'Connell. Did not happen.
Did you kill Dan?
I did not kill Dan.
Did you want to kill him?
No, I did not. I have no reason to want to kill Dan O'Connell. We never had any bad words towards one another. We never talked poorly to one another. There was never any confrontation between us. There was no reason for me to kill Dan O'Connell.
Okay. He came to our police department.
Mm-hmm.
We had a nice visit. Do you recall? What do you recall? Was your conversation about the homicides in Hudson with?
No idea.
You talked to him.
I'm sure I talked to him. He does not like me for one particular reason. You can ask anyone in town.
Give me the reason.
I was her counselor. Okay. And you can ask Father Peter. You can ask all of them. He was.
What's his voice?
He accused me of having an affair with her. And
obviously, when Sean and I were up there, we told you that this, stays with us. Or anything else, it would have to be up. Obviously, we have to write reports, with everybody that's involved in the investigation, and other reports that may come into play from this investigation, and that sort of thing. It isn't here. We don't go run out the door and go to the Lady Smith Journal or whatever they call it. That anything that we discussed here tonight, we don't discuss anything that we talked about tonight with anybody else. Be honest with me when I ask you this question.
I did not have any relations with her. None.
Okay, as a man to man,
yeah.
Here. Okay, we're all men in here. Sometimes we like to have a little action. Okay, even though you're in a position that you chose to be in, you still want to have, and you think about it. I mean, that's just human nature. I'm sure sometimes you like to say, man, I'd like to bend her right over a piece of farm machinery. And just, or something to that effect, right?
I don't know.
I mean, well,
I think I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? I mean, there's sometimes between guys, and I believe you that you didn't have anything with her. She's never come to us or anything like that. And what you say about her is not okay. Was there anything else like that in the church that we should be made aware of? That maybe they thought somebody else was having counseling with you.
Well, I've heard there were rumors flying around that there was about 3 women that I was having an affair. Those were nasty rumors that were started that were not true.
How did you sniff those rumors out? How did you snuff them out?
Well, they just came up all of a sudden. Father, I heard, or Father, did you know? I think there was, I think it was Father Peter who came, and I said, oh, come on. So
I'm not Catholic. I told you that before. Okay, I don't know really what you can do, what you can't do. I believe that you can have sex with the female,
Anybody.
or with a male, whatever. Okay. Have you ever commented to anybody that you like to have sex with somebody?
No.
The guys get around, as in Detective T, myself.
No.
So often we get around here and say, boy, you know, we'd kind of like to
No,
move her a
no,
little bit,
no,
you know,
no.
a little something like that. But
No.
did you ever get around his other fathers here? His father Peter?
No.
Probably not the Brucey. He's a little old.
No.
But maybe he still
No.
gets wood. I don't know.
No.
But anyways, have you guys ever talked about it before?
No. I've never discussed anything like that.
We had heard in somebody prior to the homicides. What do you know about that?
I don't know anything other than Father Peter said that they had marriage troubles. That's all I know.
Did he say what?
He didn't
Types?
say what types. He just said that he had counseled them. And
Did it sound significant?
well, if he had to counsel them, yeah, I would consider that significant right away. Just anybody, priest, especially, you know, Father Peter in particular, being he knows everybody he's around town. I would say that would be significant in the sense that they want help with something.
Do you have any guns on your person right now?
No.
Do you have any guns in your car? Trunk?
Oh, I have a gun in the trunk because I actually had it under the seat and then throw it into the trunk when I get to town.
Okay. What kind of gun is that?
It's a 9mm.
Okay.
Browning. It's the one I always put under the seat.
You got that 44.
Well, I've only,
That's a big gun.
yeah, I've only taken that one time, and that was to a priest retreat to show one of the priests. But the Browning is the one that always would be put underneath there, and it's always separated. The clip is always separated from the gun itself.
My only question is that one of the guns that they looked at?
Yeah. it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We just take a peek on the way out. Correct.
Of course.
It's in the trunk.
It's in the trunk.
Do you have the keys? Is there a remote control to that?
Yeah, there's a remote.
Well, you got a newer car. I was going to say like these older 94s or whatever. They don't have remotes.
Yeah, no.
But is that the new car? Yeah. Okay.
And you're going to arrange, is that what I understand?
They'll submit to a polygraph.
Yeah.
Very good.
In Hudson.
In Hudson, yeah. The accusation that was made against me, where is that, or what's that about?
That's just something that has come up through as part of the investigations.
Okay.
It's come up. There's some other things that that people come to us.
Mhm.
They want to help.
Sure.
They want to assist us. They want to help
Yeah.
the community, the family, law enforcement. And there's going to be a whole lot more people coming to us,
Sure. Well, I understand.
Over this. How well publicized it's been a national.
Oh yeah, no, I understand that. I've got to call the bishop, and I have.
You have to tell him whatever you feel that you have to tell him.
Well, if the kid's making an accusation, I have to tell him that the accusation is made.
If the bishop would call us, what should we tell him?
Well, you have to tell him what was said. Whatever he presents is what has to be, and that's automatically.
How about what you said?
It doesn't matter. In the eyes of the bishop, it does not matter. The charter is very clear, and so what matters is what the person making the accusation has.
Mm-hmm.
But since it wasn't formal, I'm just being technical for a minute. Since it wasn't formal here, and since it isn't reported out of here, it isn't official, and so therefore one doesn't have to report. I'm just giving you wiggle room there.
I don't know.
I don't know what your policies and procedures are.
Well, the policy is if there was an accusation made, then I have to report that to the bishop.
But that is a formal accusation, correct?
A formal accusation in which I sexually molested a child or a person, any person can be
But
90-year-old.
But that has to be preceded by a written complaint, right?
Yeah.
Have you?
Well, that's why I asked him if there was one, so that I could.
And what I think what he just said is what was said here stays here in this room, so you don't have a formal complaint.
We are not at this time reporting this, correct? To the diocese? Or
No,
are we?
it's under investigation. And that's why when we asked you about it, Tess, you know, what was going on during that time frame.
So you're preliminary to an actual decision, is that what I'm hearing from you?
Yes.
Okay. Which therefore is not like that.
What year is your car? Is it a 2000?
I believe, yeah, it's a 2000.
What's the make again?
Lincoln Continental.
Geez, it must-
I know, or something. Jeez, to afford a big rig like that. Yeah, Wisconsin plates.
Yep.
And where is it presently parked?
Right out here.
Just outside the government center?
Yeah, right now.
What is your address up there again? Iron Street?
Iron Street.
And just the zip? 4.
54534.
This is our permission to search form to go inside your trunk, which you gave us. Let's go ahead and read this. I have to leave this blank unless you know what your license plate number is. So I don't know what it is.
I don't either.
But if that's true, what I've handwritten in here, it's already been pre-printed. If that's true, I'd have you sign down there where it says signature, and then we'll be on our way unless you can think of any other questions that you'd have with us. I just don't know what the license plate number is.
Sure.
You ain't part doctor? Huh? Right. We will not be speaking to these people out here about anything. You know, if you want to say hey, it's going to snow soon or about the weather. Otherwise, the confines of this room.
We don't say nothing, and if she asks, we don't say.
I guess I would probably just what Sean said.
It's best to say nothing to help us in the investigation, as a rule. Whether or not you do that, that's entirely. I can't prevent you.
Can't tell you if I'm doing that or not, but as you put in your words before, how rumors quote unquote flare up over something that's.
If I read you correctly, you're still consternated about the bishop and what to do.
You're good.
Sure.
He's good. He's good. He's good.
You're giving that away.
Uh-huh.
You don't quite understand the predicament I'm in. Only
Why
one
don't you-
thing I
why don't
love
you sit
above
on
all
it?
thing else. That's being a priest. And it's the only thing I've ever wanted. And one accusation, whether it's proven or unproven, doesn't matter. Bishop automatically removes you. You're disgraced. And
Why is that?
because of all the problems that's been out there.
Yeah, but what if
Yeah,
I said
but if it's
what if I said Father Peter brushed up against me? Would you be
Guess
gone?
what? You'd be gone.
Boy, that's
Or
pretty
what if
severe.
I said
That's not
father
like-
to
that's
bruise
not
it
like
into
the legal system.
There's a problem there. And I don't know why action hasn't been taken, but I don't know why. Something's not right in that part. But the charter that was just published is very clear, and we are following it to the letter.
I know that you've talked with his father.
She called me, and mother was not going to do that. So pat her on the butt, but she just doesn't want to deal with that. So, but no. So I am. I won't sleep. It'll be hot.
Do we need to take you to a psych ward or?
No, no, I'm
You sure?
fine.
Sure.
It's just no, I'm positive. It's
Because I
just,
want to tell you something. If you want help,
no, I'm not.
this guy should. I'm not looking at you as a priest. Don't look at me as law enforcement, man to man.
No, I'm
Okay.
fine. It's just a matter.
Are
I
you
gotta.
sure that? Because right now there's got to be about a bazillion things racing through your mind.
Oh,
If
there's
there
one
is something that we can help you with, now's be the time, because we do have some folks up here that we know that if you want to go speak to somebody,
Yeah, no, I.
you know, or anything like that.
It's a matter of dealing with
You're
the
done.
bishop, just talking to the bishop. That's all.
I just wouldn't tell him.
Oh gosh, I can't think it. I really, honest, that makes my gut kind of turn.
Tell him because it's not been formalized. You wait till it's formalized.
But under the law, I'm a mandatory reporter and all these other things, and we just had a session on this.
Yeah.
All I can say is that when we were up here investigating, of course, the double homicide and other things that do come in during the course of this, you know, like we've told you before, we've talked to over 1,900 people. That's a lot of people.
Yep.
You hear a lot of things.
Yep.
Lots of things.
I know, but
And from there, you know, it's kind of our responsibility, you know.
I understand. I'm not
Yeah,
holding anything
skill.
against you guys.
I'm not saying
That's not what
that
I'm doing.
anybody. At this point, I'm not saying that anybody wants you arrested.
But even if the
I'm just saying that
accusation is made,
somebody came forward
and
with
what
that.
yeah, and what I'm saying though is, if they came arrested or not, that.
But if he just came in and said, "Well, I just want this on file in case if it's ever needed for the future," just put it that way. Then
I think we're
I'm
splitting
just
hairs and it
I'm
makes
just
my
laying
guts
that.
just churn.
Okay, I'm just laying that in your hands.
It gives you choices.
Okay,
You do with it what you want.
I'll tell you this. I'll guarantee you, we are not going to leave here.
Oh,
You all right?
Oh, it's the back.
We're not going to leave here. Go back home tomorrow morning after we get done with our 5-mile jog. Go up and call the bishop and say, "Hey, guess what? We talked to Father Ryan last night. You know what he said?" That's not happening, Ryan.
I
That's
know,
not happening.
But the point is that I feel like I would be.
We
I'm
are
gonna
not-
have to-
we are
I'm
not-
gonna have to just think about it.
We are not calling him.
Again,
Okay.
it's not a matter of that though. It's a matter of. It's more of a moral issue. This person said this, therefore. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's not a matter of tattletaling on me or anything. It's a matter of, am I going to have the integrity to tell the bishop? You see?
No, I understand.
If he wants to call us, if you do decide, and we don't care what you do. If you do, and he wants to call us, right now it's we're not actively working.
You know, I'll tell you.
Or
The only thing I
There's nothing
ever
that-
wanted to be was a priest. You don't know how damn hard.
It's a hell of
No,
a
no,
lot of
It's
responsibility.
what I wanted. And so for one person to make those, I feared that something like that would. And you know, you put yourself in those stupid positions, and you don't think about what you're doing because you think you're helping somebody out. And
can you talk to another priest?
no, because that's an automatic mandatory report.
That is.
I talked to this guy.
Yes,
He's
is
got to
there a-
immediately go up and.
I guess the only thing I can say is I won't go babble on, and I'm not gonna. But what I told you before, okay. Assuming that he wanted or they wanted to just come forward, like I said before, have a report on file in case there's anything that would come up in the future involving you. And if that's done, okay, we are not going to be calling. Obviously, if somebody had already called the bishop, okay, and complainants, then you'd have been removed.
No.
So you know probably that hasn't happened.
Well, again,
And you know damn well that we haven't done it.
but
We have been more
it's
honest.
not about the complaint. It's about, I know of a complaint. So what's my responsibility now? That's where I'm at. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not.
Wonderful. Okay, throw aside the part about laying on the bed. Okay, throw that aside. Okay, that just boils down to a little beer and a little wine. That's really what you have to base your decision on. Nothing else.
That's the.
I mean, you don't need to. The other part.
It's that part that becomes the important piece. If he thinks that appropriately,
He never said that, and I never told you that.
well,
He never said you molested him.
well, you get in a hyper mode and you think of
Well, I never told you. I
Let me
never
ask you
said that.
this. Let me ask you this. In God's mind right now, are you better off telling the bishop or are you better off serving the folks in Iron County? What would God want you to do?
That's where I'm at. I don't know.
Ask him.
Well, you're going to have some.
I'll have
time
a
to
lot of
think
time
about
to talk to him about it.
Yeah.
We're not.
Anyways, so we're not. We'll go
I
off and
can't
do our
make a
thing.
decision for you.
I know. I'm not asking you to.
Before we leave, okay? We have been upfront with you.
Oh, you have.
We have been honest with you.
I hear.
We've told you the discrepancies.
I hear you. No, you
We
guys have
told
been
you the
very
problem
professional.
that we have
Yep.
in
Very-
that time.
Very professional. I have honestly, and I even and stuff. And tonight again, a little rougher, but you were professional, and I appreciate that. I really do.
Well,
I really do.
we owe it to the family.
Yeah. No, I
Well,
get.
we
I
don't-
really,
and
really-
even more so, we owe it to Dan and James.
Well, you do, and I agree 100%. I really do. So I hold no.
We
No.
may come back. We don't know.
No, I hold nothing
We don't
against
wanna
you.
come back.
Nothing against you.
But I told you we got a couple.
Sure.
We would rather
There's a
have
couple of
somebody
loose
say,
ends we need to tie up.
we would rather have somebody say, I don't know, rather than make something up or try to.
But see, that's what I try thinking, and I start thinking so hard about stuff that yeah, I want to be helpful. I want to tell you what I did.
think last time we were up there, we told you, hey, it was 2.5 years ago or a little more than that.
I know,
And looking back on the date,
but I was
exactly
just
what
was
happened
trying
when.
to remember, and I know that I went down those roads, and I don't know how many times I went down those roads, but I know I went down those roads, and I don't know where I was between 12:30 and 3 o'clock, other than to say that I was up. I know the tobacco shop. for
Let me
sure.
ask you one question, an honest question, and you can even ask it of me. If you were pissed off enough to shoot someone and kill them, and I asked you, if you did it, would you tell me or Jeff?
If I did it right now,
What would your answer be?
if I did it, and I've been living with it for this long, and you guys had me cornered here, I'd break.
You
I'd
think
tell
so?
you. I know I would. And the reason is because I think the guilt would be so overwhelming. I really
If
do.
you could get away with it, would you tell us?
No. Yeah, I mean, if I could get away with it,
Yes.
probably no. I mean, I'd try to get away with human nature, so I should try to get away with it. But I personally myself, I would tell you. I really believe that. I believe that if I did something that heinous, I would tell you, because I don't think I could live with myself. I honestly would. I've thought about suicide before. If I did something that heinous, I'd tell you what. I think I'd be thinking about it now, and I'd be ready to. And
But
that's
you're not
the
thinking
case.
about that.
No, that's not the case. No,
What do you wear underneath that? Pants?
pants and a shirt
And the shirt?
and a belt,
Underneath the shirt.
Is that a cell phone? Can
rosaries,
Rosary?
money.
Oh, geez, look at that.
Well, don't start.
Yeah, here we
And
go.
then in this pocket,
I can't
that,
get into the priesthood now.
and this,
Children.
that. That's all that's.
How about-
Oh, no,
what do you wear
here, just
underneath
wait.
the shirt?
I have my examination of conscience, which I make every day. And it says, in fact, you can read here under the 5th commandment, thou shalt not murder. or homicide manslaughter. Very clear about, this is a unique examination of conscience to get ready. Anyway, and under the shirt,
What do you want to?
Did you wear that same cleric during mass?
What does it ever get
gets very warm.
warm?
And then I break out.
But it gets
What did
warm.
they call the havocs?
It's a cassock. A
Cassock.
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 C-A-S-I-K.
You call it cassock or cleric?
It's cleric if I have just like Father John has on. That's a cleric. But this is a cassock,
Cassock.
which a cleric can wear.
And what did the nuns wear?
Habit. I wear this underneath there,
Oh.
which is Our Lady of Perpetual, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and these are the medals, just different ones.
I had one of those
okay.
for First Communion.
Oh, you did? That's where I had mine from. It wasn't until
And I kept that thing for years, and I loved
Did you really?
it. Yep. I wore that
Oh.
thing through high school.
oh
Very,
really?
very. The only time I took it off was when I played sports.
That's the only time I took it
had a
off.
cross that I wore in high school, except for sports.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us wear them. That's why I
Actually,
take them
you know what? When I was a freshman, early part of high school, going up, I wanted to be a pastor.
Oh really?
I'm not sure. Yeah,
Oh.
I really did. Now you may think differently, but no.
I know
I
things change.
So, but that's
I don't know
how
how he even eats for that long.
Oh.
I think you need to go to confession.
I'm gonna confession. I don't know if he's got that much time.
Father Ryan, we do appreciate. We apologize for the inconvenience, but
No, I understand.
we have job.
I understand.
We have to get this.
I really do understand. I
We have
hope
to
you.
get this.
I hope you understand. I
The thing
understand.
is,
Great,
is it, make sure that like, when we talk to everybody, and there's nobody in this world that's going to understand how much time Sean and I and the different things that we have ever done on this case.
I understand.
We don't want to offend anybody, but yet we are still going to do our jobs. And if it does offend it, or somebody takes it offensive, too bad.
Too bad.
Right.
I tell you, I'm
And
nervous about. I'm nervous about being questioned. I think anybody is. But I'm upset.
Sure.
That there's a young man who thinks that I hurt him. That bothers me a little bit. I tell you.
If you did, and if he thinks are two different things.
Okay, I didn't. I didn't intend to.
I don't understand that, how an accusation.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Okay. Take a quick peek on that.
Yep.